How you doing? This is Coach DeCarlo. Today we're going to be talking about a Neville Goddard quote. And basically we're going to be talking about how this stuff works. A lot of times people say, well, Coach, how can I get into state? What do I need to do? What am I missing? And we're going to discuss that today. When you begin to understand how this stuff works, you're going to be able to become a more conscious creator. Let's go to the quote of Neville. Neville says, I imagine myself into what I am, and I can imagine myself into what I want to be. I am forever becoming what I imagine myself to be it good, bad, or indifferent. Let's talk about this. He says, I imagined myself into what I am. When we're talking about the I am, this is the self-existing one known as God. What does this have to do with you? Why do you care? When you start imagining, you say, I'm this person, I work at this company, I do this particular type of activity, I love doing this. All of that is identifying yourself with the I am within you. So when you say I am, whatever you say I am, I'm smart, I'm brilliant, I'm attractive, I'm stupid, I'm not smart. I can remember years ago when I was working at a Fortune 10 company, one of my coworkers, a very bright young man, he said to himself, he was trying to solve a problem. He was doing some calculations and so forth. He basically transposed some numbers. He said out loud, "You're so stupid." And I paused and I told him, I said, listen, don't talk to my friend like that. And we both started laughing, but he got the point. After that, he became more aware of his own inner conversation. What is your inner conversation? It says that we shall give an account for every idle word. Neville says, I imagine myself into what I am. What are you currently, creators? Are you happy with your creation? If you're not happy with your creation, you can change it. Many of you believe that who you are is fixed. Nothing can be further from the truth. Neville goes on to say, and I can imagine myself into what I want to be. What is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to have? What is it that you want to do? I talk to many clients, and many of them have aspirations and dreams and things that they want to accomplish. They look at their lives where they're at the moment, and they say, this stuff just isn't working for me. It's working for everybody else, but it's not working for me. Creator, it's always working. We're always thinking ahead of our evidence. So if the evidence says that this stuff isn't working for me, the only thing that you can get from this isn't working for me, what you imagined, is more of this isn't working for me. I was talking to a client recently, and he was talking about this person he knew, and he called the person Mr. Lucky because Mr. Lucky, everything he touched turned to gold. Everything seemed to work out for him. But the key to Mr. Lucky is imagination. Mr. Lucky believes that things are going to turn out on his behalf. He believes that things are going to always work out. And because that's Mr. Lucky's belief, that's his lifestyle. He can take a pile of manure and turn it into something that he can sell. This is the mindset of those people that have that all things are working together for my good mindset. When you say that nothing ever works out for me, the contrary of the all things that work good mindset, then what you become is Mr. Mrs. Unlucky. If you want to change that, you must start with your imagination and then allow it to penetrate your self-talk, and then it will become a part of who you are. Now, a lot of times we have to undo, reprogram, using that word. We have to rethink, reimagine our life and who it is that we are. See, we're continuously manifesting according to our imagination. But the question is, Creator, what are you imagining yourself to be? Neville said, and I can imagine myself into what I want to be, whatever that thing is. He knew that he could begin thinking from that thing and seeing himself as that person doing that thing, living that lifestyle. But creators, Neville was not the exception to the rule. He was just an example. Since God is no respecter of person, what he did through Neville, he can do through you, according to your skills and your abilities. God did not create you to be another version of Neville or anyone else. He created you to be specifically you. God wants to do a new thing in you, as you. He says, I imagine myself into what I am. The I am in you. It's because of the I am in you that we live, we move, we have our existence. And apart from the I am within us, we can do nothing. You know, if the master teacher, personified as Jesus, says that apart from the Father, I can do nothing, how much less us? If the master teacher couldn't do anything apart from the indwelling spirit of the Father, how much more you? We need to understand that in him we live, we move, we have our existence, and apart from him we can do nothing. But because he's in us, I imagine myself into what I am. This is you, Creator. Whatever you are at the moment, this is how this works. You've imagined yourself to be the person that you are. Once you start changing that image, people are going to say, oh, they're make-believing, they're fantasizing. You need to come up out of that dream world. You need to stop listening to that coach DeCarlo because he's got you going in a whole different direction. Understand this, creators. They're seeing you as your past. They're processing who it is that you are by way of their past version of you. When you start making the adjustment, the change, the rearrangement, you're going to become another version of you 2.0. But they're going to still see the version 1.0. They're going to say, something's going on with him. What they said about Jesus was he was beside himself. Because, see, they grew up with the man known as Jesus. And they were in the household. They were siblings. They were relatives. So all of a sudden, he had clothed himself in a new identity. And they said that he was beside himself. Many people, when you start making that transition from being broke, busted, and disgusted to a millionaire, they're going to say, he's beside himself, or he's too good for us now. Creators, you have to get in mind imagination. Imagine yourself into who you want to be and begin living from that end, no matter what it is that you're going through right now. You could have been incarcerated for the last 20 years, but you say, listen, I've made my amends, I've done my time. Now it's time for transformation. I've seen this happen in the lives of others who have come from incarceration to elevation, and now they're transforming lives, and so can you. Neville says, and I can. The emphasis on you can imagine yourself into what you want to be. Creators, what is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to have? Some of you are going to find this difficult. I had a client recently, very attractive woman, but she didn't see herself as attractive or worthy of love. So she kept attracting into her life men who were contrary to who she was, because that's what she was vibrating. And I told her to clothe herself in her beauty, begin walking in her beauty. For many of us, like the famous plastic surgeon Maxwell Maltz, psychocybernetics, he discovered that he would do this surgery and make the person beautiful. He would remove something or, adjust something, and all of a sudden they were so much more beautiful than they were before. But when they looked in the mirror, they saw their old self. they still saw themselves as unattractive. The wonderful thing about the lady I was speaking to, she was already beautiful, but she didn't see it. Now, I don't know what happened in childhood or early adulthood or through adulthood that made her feel that she wasn't attractive. No amount of compliments that I or anyone else can give her will be enough until she begins to see the God within herself. Our brilliance, our beauty, our talents are not solely based on us, but it goes back to the I am within. I can become anything I want to be because I am. And so are you. We are forever, constantly, ongoing, continuously shaping ourselves into new I ams. We put on a new suit of clothes and all of a sudden we start feeling good. We've put on a new I am. We go out and get a haircut, we get our hair done, and we look in the mirror and we say, I'm beautiful, I look good, I'm attractive, I'm handsome. All of a sudden we've put on a new I am. We get into a fitness program and all of a sudden we see what used to be duff is now tough, and all of a sudden we have this buff body and we say, man, I'm feeling good. And so now we've clothed ourselves into a new I am. Creators, you're constantly putting on a new I am. When you read a new book and all of a sudden you get a concept, a belief that you didn't have before, or you listen to a talk such as this and all of a sudden you're elevated, you just put on a new I am. Neville says this, I am forever becoming what I imagine myself to be. Whether that be good, I like to say that good is the gift of one's desire. Or bad, when we're talking about bad, those beliefs associated with one's destruction, not being good enough, being denied. What is it that you're seeing as your bad or indifferent? That's when you really don't care and you're stuck in that default future, that default mode of being, because you say, this is just who I am. But the truth of the matter is, you're always creating a newer version of you. That's because of the world in which we live. This virtual reality is always changing. The only thing that's fixed is spirit. And that's the God within you, the I am within you. But right now, he's living, moving, and existing as you, through you. Creators, you have to decide who it is that you want to be and begin living from that end. Somebody recently inquired with me, how do you occupy the state? You start by believing, pretending, acting as if, make-believing, becoming an actor in your own play. You put on that new identity by imagination. And do as Neville stated, imagine yourself into who you are or I am. And as you begin imagining yourself into your I am, you'll have, do, and be what it is that you've imagined yourself to have, do, and be. But remember this, creators, only you can create your perfect world. Not God or man. Only you can create your perfect world. This is Coach DeCarlo saying have a great and abundant day.